Hello, video, haha. This is first thing in the morning for me, so I haven't had time to think things through, but Matt, Nascent Mind, has put up a brilliant comment. Really, it's in reply to John by the Creek, who was talking about in deflation, because, not because, John by the Creek knows that what should we call it? Believe in deflation, only deflation and not inflation, and so does Johnny. Nascent Mind, who doesn't, I don't think, believe in deflation. Brilliant comment. Can you explain to me what deflation will look like? I mean, it's just cut straight to it. So important. Okay. Can you describe what deflation will look like? I can describe what deflation does look like. Right. The first thing to understand about in this inflation and deflation debate, and the reason I'm making this video is we all kind of know it's to do with money. And if we read Mish, we know it's to do with money and credit. And if we don't know about that, we know about the money supply or something like that, or CPI, the prices in the shops and things like that, which are pretty erroneous ways of looking at it. Mish has basically had it right from the beginning. It's the increase or decrease in money and credit. Now, whatever money might be, it's either increasing or decreasing. Whatever credit is, it's either increasing or decreasing. But the reason I'm making this video is imagine for yourself. God, first thing in the morning, I shouldn't really, should I? What are those things that Titanic bump into? Iceberg. You know, you've only got a certain amount above the water. So do yourself a triangle, and some cuts a little bit off at the top. You know, reasonable chunk. How much? About a tenth, an eighth, something like that off at the top. And then you can imagine the rest below the water. Inflation and deflation is mainly found below the water because it's in the overall economy. But the economy is the entire iceberg. But we, as people, only live on the outside world floaty up bit. But underneath is most of the economy, and that is where just about most all of the inflation and deflation can be found. And as Matt points out, we don't actually get to see that much of it up on our little sunny bit at the top. Yeah. Now, gone into tiredness. Right. What does deflation look like? Deflation looks like austerity. Government's telling you that you've got to pull your belt in and you're not going to get any more of this, and your taxes are going to have to go up. It looks like Greece. It looks like a Spanish bank, or the Spanish banking system that initially says, I could really do with 100 billion euros. That's what deflation looks like. What does inflation look like? Inflation looks like, whoa, be happy, happy, happy times. House prices are going up. The local council and the government are flush with money. Everybody can get not everything they want, but there's no need for austerity because there's plenty of money in the economy. Greece is well happy. They're buying Mercedes cars and going on holiday and retiring at the age of 22, and everything's super duper. Spanish banks are giving out mortgages to all sorts of people, lending huge billions, not hundreds of millions, to property developers, and everything's going swimmingly. That's inflation. What is deflation? It's what we see now. It's what tomorrow the European, whoever they are, what are we calling them? Government minister, whoever they are, meeting tomorrow and Friday. That's what they're going to be discussing. Deflation. They would not be there discussing if it was happy, happy, happy inflation times. What does deflation look like? Financial Times headlines that there's going to be talk about this, that and the other, of pushing Europe together, a banking overlord that's going to look after 8,000 banks. In the UK, you've got the thing out yesterday that the government's running into trouble again. In America, this fiscal wall or something that they're going to bump into at the end of the year. So many million people on food stamps. That's what deflation looks like. Yeah, that's what deflation looks like. And why? Why is it? It's because below the waterline, where all the money is and is circulating and swirling round in the economy, that's the economy, the economy. These banker people are doing all this banking. Let's just call it bankers and banking. High finance. They're swirling this money around, lending it to each other. The thing I said yesterday, and the day before, the banks are not now confident to lend money to other banks. So they're not making money up out of thin air and giving it to another bank. And that other bank then lends it to another bank, who lends it to the first bank. And the money supply, or credit, depending which way you want to look at it, is growing and growing, and it bubbles up to the top. They let some of it bubble out to the top so the people can get hold of it, but it's not swirling round down below. It's shrinking down below, and everything's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, and causing all sorts of things to happen. And eventually they want, because they are losing money here, they want any money that happens to be on the sunny part at the top, they want to pull it down. But of course there isn't nearly enough money in the sunny part at the top to re-inflate the amount that they did have down below. That is what deflation looks like. The 5 years of credit crunch that we've had now, that I can witter on, do a video every day just about, that is what deflation looks like. Inflation doesn't look anything like this. Inflation, I don't do the videos. I don't even understand that there might even be a problem, because everything's fine. For me, it was in inflation times, Northern Rock in the United Kingdom wasn't going bankrupt, wasn't going bust with my money inside it. So I wasn't interested. But when it did start to go bust with my money inside it, I got interested. Why did it go bust? Deflation. Down below, underneath. Deflation. 5 years ago, and I'm still going on about it because there's still deflation down there, and it swirls round and does affect us in the sunny areas. And the people, the politicians and the central banks are trying to keep down there from basically absolutely swamping us up there, because down there they had all the money and credit, and it had it all in different places to do different things and all this and all that sort of stuff, and it's all shrinking, which affects us up top. And the stupid people up top are trying to make enough money up in the top, with the central banks doing it and the government's taxing it from the people and trying to feed it down there, so the whole thing doesn't, whatever they say it's going to do underneath. But it's all underneath. The high finance economy underneath. And yes, if it affects us by getting gits like me to make videos every day for 5 years, that's what deflation looks like. And it's still going on, and it still will go on, and it will go on for, I could keep going for the rest of my life, I would think. Because I've told you in the videos why it'll go on. And it's going to be deflation all the way. Even if it looks like hyperinflation at the top, it will be caused by the deflation below. Yeah. might spark some comments anyway, and we can talk about this, because obviously I still don't think. I think there's still a lot of misunderstanding about this inflation and deflation stuff. Maybe I haven't gone off on about it enough. I've been talking about what deflation looks like at the top without explaining the why down below and linking it every time. But it's always linked to the deflation down below the waterline, in the main part of the iceberg.